That's what I was gonna say.
I just called and left a message for the last one.
I've been said, I mean, like.
Yeah.
$500.
Looking for taking
$500.
$200 bills and it'd be like.
Full party mode. We'll have a recording of members present, and we are all here with the exception of Mrs. Crawford.
Is she still in a really low place?
She is.
That's wrong. And
Night on a beach. We have our Pledge of Allegiance, and we have two girls from Sequoia. I think they're both from Sequoia. Have Harper Ferguson and Kate Hires. And Dr. Kaufman's going to read little biographical information about me.
Okay, so we have Kate Hires, she's in pre-K, she's in Miss Cochran's class. Her parents are Stephen and Cammie Hires. Her interests and hobbies are dancing, singing, playing, dress up, and wearing high heels, skating, riding her new bike, wearing lots of jewelry. She even has a jewelry box in her classroom. Much to her teacher's dismay, playing with her American Doll and swimming. Pretty much sums you up, huh? Now we have Harper Ferguson. She's in pre-K, Miss Faulkner's class. Her parents are Keith and Beth Ferguson. Harper is an outgoing, accessorized 5-year-old. She loves to paint at school and play board games at home. She enjoys gymnastics, playing at the park, and cheering on the Telequal Tigers at NSU Riverhawks. All right, ladies, just come on up here.
Flag's over there, girls. Flag is there. Do you see it? You see it? Start with attention.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good job, girls.
This is.
You got a present too, you got more.
We're gonna take your picture, okay?
Turn around and look at Mr. Lunch, okay? Did mommy
Gotta have that heavy.
It's not heavy.
I stand
I
corrected.
picked her. Whatever those mystery boxes.
There's a cat in there. Girls, look at me real quick.
Don't tell me.
Harper, look at me.
Look at Miss Blunt.
Perfect. Good job.
Good job, girl.
You're gonna break it before you open
Okay. Item B, Tigers Roar. We'll get the girls. She's looking for the cat, yes.
Hey, I can hold it while you open it.
Bye.
So item B, Tigers Roar, we are honoring junior high all-state wrestler Hayden Justice. And we also have Coach Gary McClure here with him. Can they come up and
It's
introduce?
fine, or you want us up there?
Come up here.
Up here? Okay.
So you'll be here for the picture.
Yeah. So, my name's Gary McClure, I'm the junior high wrestling coach. Hayden Justice is a 7th grader. I know. He wrestled at 155 pounds all year, well, most of the year. And had a great year. For the year, he's 25-2. We finished first at Pryor. We finished second at Wagner to a 3-time junior high state champion who's a freshman. So that tells you that. And then at junior high state, in the 7th grade division, we finished runner-up. Got beat by the champion by 1 point. And in the finals of that consolation match, he won 17-2, 17-1. Yeah, we tech volley, in the second period, so. Outstanding year, obviously, with that record and, you know, with seventh grader and as large as he is, there's a lot to be excited about, to say the least.
Do you wanna go this way? I don't see.
What are we looking at?
Here we go, 1, 2, 3. Got it.
Thanks, congratulations.
Oh, yeah.
Good job.
That's something to be proud of.
Yeah.
We have some state trophies ahead of that young man. Item C, discussion and vote to approve the minutes from the previous meeting. This was the meeting of January 21st, 2025, regular meeting. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Discussion?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Ms. Neva? Aye. Dr. Eversole?
I'm gonna have,
Dr. Collins?
Aye.
You're abstaining?
yeah, because I wasn't here.
Okay. And aye, so Dr. Eversole abstained. Item D, if you're ready to go. Deputy Treasurer to report. And then we'll have discussion and vote to approve the monthly financial reports.
Good evening. The bank balance as of January 31st was $18,367,861.76. Receipts for the general fund as of January were $8,218,384.75. Building fund, $421,246.80. Sinking fund, $2,003,631.44. That brings us, in general fund, $9,317,296.12. Building fund, we're at $5,350,859.11. Co-op fund doesn't have anything in it. Bond funds, $762,578. Sinking fund, $2,279,833.86. At the end of the month, we did move $5 million to another account to draw interest off of for the time being, and then we'll move it back over when we need it.
I'd asked that, I was like, why does general fund have $9.3 million? And I love it, but I don't know where that came from. Yes, and
So that's
changes money around for interest reasons.
activity account at the end of January, $1,216,923.06. We'll go over to utilities. Utilities this month, electric, we paid over $8,000 less than we did last January, so that was good. Gas, we paid $2,300 more this January than we did last January. And then water and sewer, we paid $975 less than we did last January. And that's it.
What's the total savings for?
Let's see here. We'll say $9,000.
So sometime in the next couple months, the gentleman, Gladden from ESP is gonna come give us an overview of the projects that we have done for energy savings and where we are on all of those projects.
Pretty amazing.
It's doing what it was promised thus far.
That's so unusual.
Yeah, it's nice.
Well,
I have a finance-related question, that you guys might have an exact answer for, but do we know roughly on our, on child nutrition, where we were for the most recent month we have as far as what we took in?
Yes, I
Is that
have
part of your
some-
report? Okay,
yes, I do.
never mind, I will withdraw that question.
Explain the supplemental appropriation.
Give me a-
Oh,
explain it.
You
Yeah.
left.
So a supplemental, we've never done a supplemental before because we've always had the COVID money that we've always gotten. So since we no longer have that, we're doing a supplemental to keep what happens is the state tells us how much appropriations we get.
Like mid-front?
Well, no, at the beginning.
Okay.
we had $45 million. As we spend that down, you know that we wanna keep a $5 million carryover. Well, at midterm adjustment, which is what we just got, we got more money, and so now we want to input that into our appropriation, so we can show that we have that $5 million carryover. So on there, you'll see the foundation salary incentive. This is everything above what they thought we were gonna get at the beginning of the year. So we got 1.2 million more in our midterm adjustment. And then we also got like $8,300 more in our state textbook allocation. And then our interest earnings, we don't ever put the full amount in there of interest because we never know. We've got over $318,000. And so he went ahead and just added that in there. So that's why our full is 1.5. So after you guys board approve that, I will add that into our accounting software. And then that will be reflected on all the reports that we do from here on out. And we can add anything that we want. Anything new that we get after they do our original appropriations for us, we can add that anytime throughout the year to boost our numbers.
So we had such an influx of money with COVID money that there was no need to put it into the budget until the end of the year. So the last few years, that's what this district has done. The money is always in the bank, but it's just not added to the tally
Appropriation.
until July.
Right.
But this year, and we could have done the same thing this year, but it would have, our carryover would have looked like 2.5 million, and then we would have added it back in July. And it's just more transparent to put it in, so we know exactly what we're working with.
One way or another, it goes into the calculation, whether we put it in now or it rolls into next year. So one way or another.
Psychologically, it's nice to see it now,
Right.
Yes.
rather than to be at that 2 point whatever.
Yes, right.
Okay,
And when you have a $5 million goal,
yes.
try to make sure we get that.
Yes. I appreciate that. As we discussed before we made a motion or a second, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second. And we have had a discussion, any more discussion? Okay, Mrs. Neiman. Aye. Dr. Eversole.
Aye.
Dr. Coughlin.
Aye.
Item D, principal directors. We're going to have executive director Carl Ridenhour and assistant superintendent Ian Young. Speak to us about professional development.
Aye.
Carl and I are going to present our professional development. We'll take turns, so we have split this presentation up. The first thing, if you look, I don't know, do we have is this going on the slide?
He has it.
Okay, so if you wanna go ahead to the next slide. These are some of the categories that we're gonna talk about. The Learn Upon, the Summer PD for 24, instructional coaches, district and instructional PD, Katie Kinder, professional learning communities, special education, alternative teacher support within SU, Initiative 1, and Summer PD that we're about to have, okay? So the first thing would be our required by the state, and this comes from Learn Upon. Learn Upon is an online platform that we use, and it's nice because it prints a certificate and keeps the points for us. If you look at the first 6 bullets, so from bloodborne pathogens, bullying, FERPA, hazardous communications, Title IX, and McKinney-Vento homeless, those are required every year. Autism, every 3 years for all. And then alcohol and drug awareness, digital teaching, child abuse, suicide prevention, and mental health are every 5 years. We keep track of those. The new law says that the employee will keep track of those, but we keep track of those with Jessica Morrison has helped us. She has a tracking system. We put those in. Sherry Kimball at the annex takes and puts in points because we still try to get 15 points a year. In a 5-year cycle, 75 total points. They can receive more than that, but we still keep track of that. One of the ones we do
Yeah, is
more
that for certified?
certified,
only?
yes, certified staff. Child abuse, we do that every year. We do not wait for every 5 years. We feel like that is very important for everybody to be reminded that if you see something, do something immediately, report that, whose responsibilities those are, because we feel like that's very important. We also give the teachers 3 hours in the beginning of the year PD to complete that set of those that are owed yearly. So we make sure we have enough time allotted so they can do. All employees do, we don't keep we keep track of everybody that has to take like bloodborne pathogens or whatever, because we do have non-support. I mean, we have the non-certified, the support teacher that does have to do some of these too. So we keep track of those in a different way. The next one is our summer PD series, and you were given a handout that should have shown you some of the selections that we had this past summer. Lacey, and our federal grants director, she through grants pays for this PD. So what she starts out with, she's really good to do a needs assessment. So she does a needs assessment with the teachers, with the sites, and to determine what do you guys want, what are you needing, what are some things that we need. And then this last summer, we had approximately 80 people. We did 2 sessions. That doesn't mean it's 80 different people, but around 80 people that came. They will receive $100 a day. The sessions are usually 8 to 11, and then they come back at 1 to 3. And if you just do half a day, because some of these sessions are half a day, you get $50, and if you do 2, it's $100 a day. And those are all paid through grants that we have. Okay? And I'm going to step down, and we'll be back up in a minute.
Next one is the very important to our professional development is our instructional coaches. We have 2 instructional coaches in the elementary, Jessica Morrison and Cassie Stevens. They work with all of our teachers, mostly all of our people. We focus on the first year teachers, all certified teachers, anyone the principal suggests, like there's something that, they can give them. At the middle school, we have Miss Candace Jefferson. That's a new position. We didn't have that last year. So when we gave this presentation, Miss Keys had a stern talk with us last year. And so needless to say, we now have an instructional coach at the middle school. So, and then we also have Mr. Chuck Pack at the high school. And these 4, they are very, very vital parts to the operations of this school. When you talk about instructional strategies and what they do, these 4 do great. They make sure that all of our teachers are able to use all of our district programs, the platforms that they have to use. They're using iStation, Edulastic, anything like that. They make sure that the teachers know how to do all of that. We do a new teacher training at the beginning. These 4 work with all of those teachers, talk about classroom management, technology. Mr. Pack at the high school does a lot of the technology fixing that, I think, and he's at about 800 requests a year to do all of that. So the instructional coaches are just very, very important, and we're glad to have them. The next one is just PD that we offer to different staff members. We have Literacy First, the Structured Language Basics, and Navigate Kindergarten are both with Crossroads Learning. The letters training, and if you go to anything about the science of reading, they'll tell you that letters training is one of the most important things. Our State Department, we've had a lot of our elementary teachers trained in this. They give them a stipend for that. Sometimes they pay us, sometimes they don't, but we usually get the money somewhere. They finally give it to us. So we have Dr. Searcy with our writer's workshop that is just extremely helpful, has been very important in the elementary. Our iStation stuff, computer science training, Prisms, the VR training, that is that's a hot thing at the high school. They love the VR, and Mr. Pat does a great job with prisms. Of course, we have mental health and first aid, our behavioral threat assessment that Lacey Wilson, she did the beginning of the year. We had lots of people doing that. Our OSAC membership gives us lots of writing and math workshops, the K-20 Learning Center, and then anything with advanced placement. So we offer a lot of things. We also, there's some that didn't make the list. Dr. Barbara Sorrells is very important with her trauma and how to deal with kids that have experienced trauma, so our teachers really like that. And this all goes back again to Lacey Wilson. She funds all of this stuff with all of the grants, gets us there. We give the teachers a stipend if it's outside of school to go to it. Get them there, get them home, and then usually the principals will have them to sometime present on some of our PD days. If they've been to a great workshop, they get to give what they've learned back to the staff. And then our next slide is probably one of our most important slides, and you can see we even put the little glasses, and y'all know I didn't do all that with Techie. Jessica Morrison sent them to him, she goes, highlight it, get copy, and go. And so all of our teachers at the back to school, they got the little teal glasses, so that's kind of her signature is the teal glasses, so when she goes to buildings, people have them on. So we contracted with her, again, with Lacey Wilson's money. I don't know what we're gonna do when that runs out, but 19 days that Mrs. Kinder will be on our campus from the beginning of the school and our back to school kickoff, and she has tons of topics. I mean, this is just as detailed as she is. I mean, here's what 19 days will get you. I mean, the middle school, the high school, she's at Sequoia, all 3 elementaries. And what I really like about Katie Kinder is the high school and middle school teachers, absolutely, they fight over who is going to get to see Katie Kinder that day. And so when you can find something that, the elementary, they kind of love it all, but middle school and high school, they get in their niche. And so we are glad to have Katie Kinder here on campus. And talked to some teachers and they're just saying, and I think Miss Jones summed it all up on one of her little comments that Katie puts on Facebook, and Tanya said that Katie Kinder is a breath of fresh air. And she has really just, I think, done a lot for our school district this year, and we are excited to have her, and we hope we can continue that partnership throughout, even next year.
She spoke at the beginning of the year.
Yes, she did, yes, she did.
I've seen the pictures with the blue glasses, but I don't know what is her program or
Background, well, it's a little bit of everything. It's anywhere from motivation, classroom management, new teachers. So she's done, these are all the different things she's come here, but she did.
Yes, these are her things, yes.
And she
I'm
does a
sorry.
lot more than that, but that's
Oh,
what
yeah.
we've had her come to do. And we will have more, we still have more days this year, and we have more days scheduled next year. And all of this, like Cara said a lot, it's grant driven. We are so fortunate with the amount of money that we have in competitive grants that's why we get to do these things. If we were using general fund for this, it would dwindle to learn upon and maybe one little thing, but this is what's going to change instruction for us. This is what's going to get alternatively certified, emergency certified, and like you just said, get the rest of us renewed. She really does that. She just brings like an energy to a classroom or to a building, and people feed off of that when they see her. And this has been a hard year for a lot of reasons in education in our state, and really just our nation, and so just a little bit of rejuvenation and excitement it goes a long way.
We took it where, it's pre-K, and when we went to Misty's building one morning, I mean, it was just every teacher was standing at their doorway with their little glasses on, just ready, and she did nothing but just go in, talk to the teachers for just a little bit, and you just thought that we'd give them that $100 shot because it was great. So yes, she does lots and lots of things for our school district. So again, we are thrilled to have Katie Kinder.
Katie Kinder, maybe we can get a free day for this infomercial that we've got on. Very good.
The next thing we're gonna talk about for just a moment is the professional learning communities that are at each site. either by departments, whether they meet on a planning time or whatever, these communities of teachers that meet and talk about academics. They look at the data, they're data-driven meetings at grade levels. We have guiding coalitions at middle school and high school. We have new teacher and mentorship programs with admin. I speak about it a lot, but Abby really does a great job at her site with the new alternatively certified teachers and all of the new teachers that they're required to go and observe so many times with other good stellar teachers so they can watch and provide that time for them. So that's nice. Late Start Friday, the high school, they don't wanna live without it because every Friday they have that time. Because if an English has 10 English teachers, all 10 cannot be off first hour, So in order to plan together, they have Fridays. They have Late Start Friday and they have about 45 minutes that they can get together in their subject areas. So it's very, very valuable, and I feel like high school will want to continue to do that. And next, I want to talk a little bit about special education. They also, with our SPED program, I want to talk, in our special education program, of course, we know that Miss Nikki Malloy is the director over that program. There are 34 special ed teachers. There are 37 special care paras in the district. There are 7 speech teachers, and right now we have 5 nurses. Each of those has something different that they do, and for our tier 2, that's what you call a special care para, there are certain things that they have to have in order to be these paras. If you're a tier 1, you're just working in the everyday classroom, and you have to know that we have to have 48 college hours or above, or you have to take a para-pro test, your high school diploma, all these things. For tier 2, you have what you have required for tier 1, but then there are other things that you need to do. You need to do CPR, bloodborne pathogens, other things that Nikki has to gather. Then there's just some of this certification training, and Melissa Dodson is certified in that now. And so she's our special ed coordinator, and she's been teaching, and she teaches and supports them. So IEP meeting expectations, support teachers in understanding an IEP process, and then our speech language path. And each of those, speech language has to do so many different types of trainings that we allow them to do. The nurses have to do vision screening training, diabetics training, seizure training, and cardiac arrest training every year. So all of those things in that SPED world, in that special education world, those services, Nikki and Melissa do a great job keeping track of that, offering that support to principals and to everyone. The alternative teacher support, right now we have a agreement with NSU, and this is our first year for teaching fellows. And right now there are 2. We had 3, but 1 did not make it. So these would be somebody that has a degree in a STEM field, math, science, or they're wanting to have that, but they are degree. They might have been one of our paras, or they might not have been. Northeastern put that out for them to apply. They applied. We had 3 this year. 1 was at the middle school and 2 were at the high school. One of those did not stay and remain at the high school, but we have 2 that are finishing out. They are paid much higher. They're not paid quite as high as a teacher, but more than a support person. They have benefits from Northeastern State University. What we do is work together to train them, and they're in a classroom with a teacher that is their mentor teacher. And all year, it's a full year program that they're together. And then what the hope is that when they graduate, they apply for one of our positions and we get them. We do know that both of the ones that are making it through this are gonna apply for some jobs that we might have some potential candidates. So you really get a good look at those. Next year, we have 7 more spots, so we're gonna begin to advertise that. That is with Dr. Renee Cambiano and Ms. Anna Lansall, and so we're working together. So that's been a really neat program and a neat help for us.
Is it in STEM specifically, or is it cross curriculum?
It's really supposed to be in STEM, so we have 1 placed in math, and then we have 1 placed in a tech ed program. And so next year, we already know there's gonna be a couple for wanting the STEM, like robotics or something like that, but that's what the grant is for, science, math, and technology.
Next thing we'd like to talk about is Initiative One training. I think we talked about a little bit of that last year. Mrs. Jones has us all of the principals and district leaders who are in the first cohort. We've made it through almost 12 sessions doing this, and we've probably, we're being recorded, we've cussed, we've cried, we've been mad at each other, we've hugged each other, and it has been just really a phenomenal learning experience about our decision making, the increased capacity and to relate and communicate. And you can see all the things, those are just the high points that we've covered. We have done trust accelerators, and we've really focused on everything we say is positive intent. Mrs. Vance really takes that to heart back there, the positive intent. Sometimes she has to remind me to be positive a little bit, but no, we do a really good job at that. And KVR, being kind, direct, and respectful. Rhonda really has to work on that. I'm doing good over here. It's been a great learning. Yes, I know, get up here and tell it all. Yes, so, and let's see, what can I say about the other two? Today, see what you get for coming to the board meeting? No, it's been a great experience. I think it has grown us as a district, has led us to have our academic achievement meetings that we've had. And so it's just really, I think, turned the leadership team into being much better leaders. And we're all learning our strengths, our weaknesses. We're learning to verbalize things, say how we feel, as long as it is kind, direct, and respectful, and with positive intent. We have 100% confidentiality when we have our meetings, and I think it has just really helped us all be better leaders. And then this year, Mrs. Jones has decided that we are meeting with all of our VPs. So we have that cohort this year, and so it's been great because, you know, the VPs get left out of a lot of things. They always have to work. We always bring in the leaders, and then they're there, and so just getting that group together has been, if nothing else, getting to just get to know those people just a little bit better, and having those 3 years, and then we go through the same program, and Deanne and I and Tanya are all in there with those guys and girls, and it's just been a great experience. And then next year, we're gonna do a train the trainer model with Initiative One, and then we'll start working with our thoughtful leaders in each building. So it's just going to expand and get better. We may even have some things for some board members. So it's just a great learning experience and I think it's money well spent for the betterment of our school district.
And that is someone else facilitates that?
Yes.
Yes, the company is out of Wisconsin, Dr. Phil is what we call. I lovingly call it group counseling on the days that, because we're in both cohorts, we do it all, like 6 hours of it at a time. And I just tell my family, I have group counseling today, all day, so it kind of feels like going to group counseling.
It's good. And then our last one, of course, is the summer PD for next year. So we'll do it just like this year. Lacey sends out a needs assessment, what people want, and she tries to go get. On July 14th will be a Katie Kinder Day. She will do the entire day, and she'll be the keynote all day long, and she's already ready for that day. So we are excited for July 14th and 15th. And then to wrap up everything that's in that is, we have a professional development committee made up of 2 people from every site, an administrator, middle school is Ms. Keys is on that this year, and Mrs. Blunt. And they're responsible for selecting our district teacher of the year, and we will do that tomorrow. All of our site winners, they will come in for an interview, and there's a rubric that we fill out, ask them questions. It is a very neat process. So the hardest part for that committee is keeping it a secret from when we decide at 5 o'clock until it's announced tomorrow, or Thursday morning at 8 o'clock. So on Thursday morning, Mrs. Jones will announce our district teacher of the year. So we are just I think here we offer a lot of professional development for the teachers. Our teachers like it, and they use it wisely. Our administrators like it. We got really lucky this year because For some reason, I approved Rhonda and 5 teachers to be gone all last week, 6 teachers. And then Amanda and Kristen were both gone Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And I said this would be fine. So the snow was very welcome this past week. We didn't have to cover for any of those people, and they got to really, really enjoy the conference. So they were working, so it's just, it's great. Does anybody have any questions over professional development?
So initiative 1 is what you do as an administrative team to teach you how to.
It's to create better leaders and really to learn about yourself, like you said, kind of strengths, weaknesses, about just leading and leading with integrity, coming up with goals. You create a 2-word purpose through all of the sessions. So we create that, we look at values, we look at goals individually, so it's professionally and personally. I mean, it really helps both. I think all of us would say that it's
So
not just,
introspection
yes.
as how you go about.
And CAR is definitely used a lot of the things, talking about being kind, direct, and respectful, about delivering the mail. Having hard just because you're a leader doesn't mean a hard conversation is easy. But being direct and being respectful, I mean, having a hard conversation is being kind, direct, and respectful. Not dealing with what needs to be dealt with, is not giving our employees the best. So it's just helping us become better leaders and better people. So then we have the assistant principals, and like you said, I love it because we get a few good meetings with them a year. And then they're taking care of the business of school when we do pull our leaders out, but we don't pull them out of the building very often. So it has been amazing for the 3 of us to sit in that group, and even I think the APs together, because they don't get a time and they don't have a cohort, they don't have a late start Friday where they get together as a group. So they have really bonded as a group and grown as a group. And I love it because we get to see, potential principals in that group. We get to, grow our own leaders. And then the train the trainer piece, that group will be trained then to go into each of their own sites and identify like the thoughtful leaders. That's the term they use for that. Like, who are your leaders in your buildings that can start to spread that out through all of the sites. And so it's been hard. I mean, he's not lying. There's been cussing, there's been crying, there's been a little bit of everything. But that's how you grow. You grow through going through difficult things. And so, yes, 100%. So every one of us have gotten something out of the training, and it's gonna be very different with what everybody has. But definitely has been worth our money and our time. I mean, it's been an investment that we knew ahead of time, we knew the dates, and it's like, you are there unless you're a surgery or a death. I mean, they have made it where it is priority, because it's really easy for things to get in the way of things, and we have just made it a priority. So I thank them for that, because I know it's harder for them to leave the 500 people that they're in charge of at their site or more, to come down here for a few hours. And we turn our cell phones off, we don't use them. We do this, 100% accountability and attention, and we're present. And that is super hard for any of us in this world nowadays, to really just be present and not let technology get in the way of that.
I have a question about, so we heard about all of these programs, many of which are grant funded. Were any of them impacted by any freezes on, because these are federal grants for the
Yes.
most part?
Yes.
Or, I know different organizations came out and said, well, ours are all front funded, so we got it at the first of the year, so for this year, we're not gonna be impacted even if they are frozen by not getting any payment, although we could be, next year if there are cuts and they're not
Yes.
renewed, but did we have any direct impact?
Nothing this year. We went through a few hours where we scrambled like everyone else, and Sabrina got here and claimed every dollar that we had already spent that we might not have, because federal or state grants we do monthly, but federal grants we tend to do quarterly. And so she got right on there, and everything that we had already paid out, we had tried to make sure we were gonna get every dollar reimbursed. But by the time the next day, that had already been lifted. I would expect that we would see more of an issue next year on the type of grants that might be available for us to apply for. Not necessarily the grants that we already have, and maybe fewer dollars just put into formula grants. I think there will be an effect, and I think it's something that we're gonna have to have on our mind when we do our budget. We've been told by a few credible sources that there could be like a 25% cut in like Title I, Title II, all those grants. And those go to our state and then to us, so they go through the state, funnel through the state. I have not heard that like about Title VI, which comes directly to us, it doesn't funnel through the state. And again, I think the competitive grants that we have will not be affected, but what I would expect is the availability of things that we could go apply for will probably be edited quite a bit. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Item F, the superintendent's report.
We have 524 employees right now, 3,637 students, which is down about 20 from last month. 162 pre-K kids, 443 at Cherokee, 494 at Greenwood, 501 at Heritage, 707 at TMS, and 1310 at students at THS and Central. Transfer spots, we have a few random through the elementaries, nothing at Sequoia, TMS, or THS. Next month, we set our capacity for the last quarter and would expect that we would have no transfers that last quarter. On bond update, the TMAC steps, I feel like I've been saying this for a few months, but they really are in the finishing pieces of that, so that's good. PAC projector has been installed and already used. Risers at Heritage are installed and have been used for a program. TMS intercom has been ordered. Some of the pieces have been fixed, but we're getting an entire new intercom system. And so most of that will be done over the summer. We're just trying to make sure she has what she needs in between that time. Roof repairs around the district, we have quotes to do all the repairs that are needed on the various sites. And so that should be happening anytime now. I think I mentioned the fencing, the transportation, the gate. We've got a new gate, we've put the fence out, we've put the awning up. So those things that we heard, we got to work on that. Parking lot expansion at Cherokee, we're going to move back the fence back towards the back side of the kinder wing and add a gravel lot. Right now it'll just be a gravel lot, but it'll still be parking, it'll be more than we have right now. So that is already in the works, and we've got a quote to paint the exterior of Cherokee to match the new portion on the other side. We just gave permission for Robert to get a new marquee sign, electric sign ordered for the Performing Arts Center. And really, we're gonna try to replace everybody's, to be honest. They all need to be replaced, and so buying all of them at one time, we get quite a substantial discount, and so we think we will be able to do that. Pull the trigger on one, but give me a couple of months and we'll surprise you with a new sign.
Will they be like a step up closer to this one than the,
They will be, yes.
where you can have the actual picture instead of just the
Yes.
letters?
And the problem with, it's like a computer, it goes out so fast. So we're hoping we'll be able to buy something where you can upgrade it as you need to, where what we have right now, you can't. The barn, this evening, there are two contracts for that, a contract with the construction management company and for the GMP, they got guaranteed maximum price for that barn. Like everything, costs more than we're supposed to, but it is what it is, and we want our babies to have something nice and what we promised, so that is on here. The iron building will be ordered as soon as this meeting is done, with an expectation of an 8 to 10 week time, so we knew we'd get that, I'll say the red iron kit in May, which is good timing. That gives us time to do the cleanup, dirt work, build the pad, all of those things. We'll have that ready by May 1st, so when we get the building package, we can get it up. And then the completion date is scheduled for before school starts in August. That's what I told people, and that's what the schedule we're on right now.
It'll be magic.
Yes, we're ready. January attendance, Sequoia went down a few, it's 85%. Cherokee was 89.4, which again was down. Greenwood was 91, which was down a couple percentage points. Heritage was 88.9, which was down about 3. Middle school was 90.5, it was up from the month before, so sickness must have been in that building the month before.
Yeah.
And high school was up a bit, so our babies, I think that sickness went through and kind of wiped out a lot, wiped me out for a week, and that is
Yeah.
not normal. January child nutrition data, we served 67,708 meals in 17 serving days. We will pay Chartwell's $222,043.16. Other bills were right at 40,000. So 262,000 is what we spent on child nutrition that month. We'll be reimbursed $262,052.19. So we're in the black for $121.37. So, yes, we're moving in the right direction. Yeah, I think the grab and go carts at THS had already started and that was working. TMS had just got started, that was working. So at TMS in December, 18% of the students had a breakfast. And in January, 20% did. They went from 18 to 20. A THS went from 13% in December to 20% in January. And they had their grab and go carts up before the middle school did. So I think we'll see that same jump at the middle school. But we knew that getting breakfast counts up was going to be the change, and so that's getting, that's good, that's promising, going in the right direction. I started to say last weekend because it wasn't, because we're a week late. A week ago, the Hall of Fame, on a Saturday night, we honored many, at the 10th Annual Athletic Hall of Fame banquet. Those honored were Wilson Fargo, Bart Frank, Richard Davis, Dana Reese, Mike Revis, the 1971 baseball team and the 1996 baseball team. It was a great event. The room looked beautiful, the food was good, the speeches were fantastic. So I'd like to thank our Hall of Fame selection committee. That'd be Coach Miller, Coach David Qualls, Coach David Spears, Coach Wilson, Coach King, and Athletic Director Matt Cloud. They put a lot of work and effort into that, and so I publicly thank them for that. This is the big announcement. I meet with Lori once a month before the board meeting. But I said, I'm not telling you this. So, go donations. So I'm extremely excited to announce that the TPS received $106,770.30 in donations last year.
That's awesome.
$90,000 more than the first year. This program transforms your state income tax dollars into funding for TPS. You help students, families, teachers, and the community, plus you get a tax credit, which saves you more than a tax deduction. There's more information on the website, if anyone's watching this or listening. And I want to thank our 2024 donors. Mr. Jerry and Tracy Halpane gave a donation of $90,000. That's a 2-year commitment, by the way.
In order to get
The tax credit.
the tax,
Yes.
well, the 75%.
Yes.
But it's incredible, it's
Yes,
incredible.
Gabriel and Julie Laney, $2,700. Winston and Darlene Cobb, $270. Paul and Judy Bizzle, $2,400. Everett and Paula Mutzig, $2,400. JD and Karen Carey, $2,400. James and Kelly Searat, $2,400. Josh and Laura Wendell, $2,400. An anonymous donor of $1,800. That, year 2, that's a pretty exciting growth from that. And that money is going to be able to help us with school supplies, with after school. Well,
Or it's
somewhat
academically-
restricted.
Yeah.
Yes, we have to, there are categories they can choose and they can
Oh,
choose
they get to
sites.
pick. Okay,
Yes,
okay.
they can choose TPS, but some of these people said, I wanna give 500 to each school, or I want to do some, it might be sorted like that. And they can choose some very specific categories or some more generic categories. But it's all going back into, so then we write a small grant.
And we have an
Um,
account that is the
account for
go
the money.
account, and that way, so we can monitor it. Like, so if we need to go back and be able to show what we spent funds on, and that we can show that we made that promise to that commitment that they made, on the donation.
And Nikki has been absolutely amazing. It's one of those other little things that she says, and everything Tanya wants me to do, that has ended up on her plate. And it's very good. $100,000 and next year could be, help us, with the school supplies for kids that, as we know, we're trying to look for ways to save money. We've lost a couple of the 21st century grants in the last, couple of years. We'll be applying for another one, we'll have another one going away. That's a potential of, thousands or tens of thousands of dollars into our after-school program or our robotics program. So, so appreciated, and I know you would be excited because Lori had been championing this for a really long time, and so.
Introduced this about 7 years ago, so this has been something that I have been very hopeful about. How much was it?
So last year, $106,770.30. So, thank you to all those donors that I just listed. A couple other things and then I'll stop talking, just some dates. April 1 is the OSSBA Day at the Capitol. I don't know if you all noticed on some of the emails that they sent. But if you are interested in us going as a group or anyone that would want to go to the Capitol that day, I can arrange that. I'll just let you reach out to me and on April 1. And a couple of us went a year or two ago, the same type of thing. We would just go up there, meet at OSSBA, and then go to our local legislators and make visits. And I will send you this copy. April 17th is the Zone 8 meeting day at ICTC. So there is an evening meeting on that evening of the April 17th that I will email you about and see if you can attend. Wanted you to know that the Teacher of the Year and Retiree Reception is at 4 o'clock on April 22nd. We always love when you guys can come by that if you could. Reminder, Accent on Excellence, that's our end of the year ceremony, is May 21st at 8 a.m. Graduation is on a Sunday at 2 o'clock. May 18th, 2 o'clock, Sunday graduation. I will be emailing you and asking, I need to move the September board meeting. That way I can attend the Impact Aid Conference. Right now we have it on Tuesday the 16th, and we could do the 18th on a Thursday that week, or we could go back a week like we did this. So if there's one of those 2 days, then you can let me know in the next few weeks, and then we'll change it in the next couple months. And I wanted to point out that OSSBA conference has moved to a different week. It's usually like the last weekend in August, and this year it's the first weekend in September. So it's September 4th through the 6th. But that is a change that, and again, Brittany will get with everybody and see who can go and that kind of thing. But in your mind, it is a week later than normal. And that's all I have for today.
Very good. I was thinking about the Go donations, which would be advantageous for all of us to make. And if you were, as a hypothetical example, a retired teacher who lives on your retirement and Social Security, and you only owed about $600 or $700 in state taxes, if that person were to make a donation, to think, and if you do it 2 years in a row, 50% credit for 1 year. And I think you can donate up as individual up to 1,000.
2,500.
2,000.
Or no, that's as a couple. That's
As
as
a
a couple,
couple.
so it's
But
individual.
someone
You're
who's,
correct.
but, you know, it's pretty amazing that you really recoup that donation. 75% of it if you make the commitment for 2 years in a row. So it's what it allows us to do as a district and for people all over the state is rather than sending your state tax money off for the legislators to divvy up, decide how it's spent, we get to send a certain percentage of it we get to spend here and choose how we spend it in our local school district. So it would make sense for all of us to do it. And so,
And our financial advisors in town also have more information for businesses, cause there's
yeah, I
a
think it's
couple of pockets
like
for businesses.
100,000 for
It's
a
up to 100,
corporation.
yeah, it's up to 100,000 and they can even do some advertising things that we can help with on that. With our Facebook page and our meetings and stuff like that.
So
So thank you.
it is a win-win situation, and the fact that I've never done it is embarrassing.
Well, my name's not on there either, it's a matter of just getting there, figuring it out, but yeah, we had 2 or 3 people do it the first year in the last month, and look where it's grown to this year. Financial advisors, tax accountants, they'll watch that this is going on, figure it out, and then I'm sure they'll all be talking to us all about it.
Carr would like to mark that down as my presentation, please.
We can do that.
He's not having positive intent back here, guys.
Told her it wasn't even her turn to present, and she's taking all of her time.
That's
All
not
right.
kind, Carr.
I know it.
It's not that kind, it was direct, but not kind and respectful.
So do you ask back, was that kind and respectful?
Yes.
No, I just
Say, is that the
No, it was not.
Science accountability as well, so.
Okay. Item G, discussion and vote to approve the following surplus. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve. Second.
Any discussion? Ms. Newman? Aye. Dr. Eversole?
Aye.
Dr. Kaufman?
Aye.
And aye. Item H, discussion and vote to approve the following bids and quotes.
So moved.
1, 2, all right. Second, any discussion? Ms. Newman? Aye. Dr. Eversole?
Aye.
Dr. Kaufman? And aye. Item I, discussion and vote to approve the adoption of the following policies. Do I have a motion? Move to approve.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Ms. Nemo? Aye. Dr. Eversole?
Aye.
Dr. Kaufman?
Aye.
And aye. Business items, consent docket vote to approve the following, and it's 1 through 4, but on 3 trips out of state, we need to strike 3A, which, is a trip that is not going to be accepted. Do I have a motion? Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Ms. Nemo? Aye. Dr. Eversole?
Aye.
Dr. Kaufman?
Aye.
And aye. Item K, discussion and vote to approve, Indian Capital Technology Muskogee campus instructor Nisha Edwards as adjunct instructor for academic credit in anatomy for the 2024-25 school year. Motion? Move to approve.
Second. She's teaching now, right?
Yes,
Okay.
we do this at the beginning of the year, if they just had a new staff member, so.
Okay. That's fine.
Discussion, and that was it. Motion? Oh, we've had a motion, yes. So, any more discussion? Ms. Nemo? Aye. Dr. Eversole?
Aye.
Dr. Kaufman? And aye. Item L, discussion and vote to approve the schedule of encumbrances.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second. Any discussion? Ms. Nemo? Aye. Dr. Eversole?
Aye.
Dr. Kaufman?
Aye.
And aye. Item M, and I will make this motion and vote to approve the following personnel items. And it's 1 through 5 on number 2 under employment. Include the names Lindsay Husky, OPAC educator Taylor Thompson Garner, part-time para-sub, and Renee Garusio, is that how you pronounce it? Special care para pending certification. A motion?
I'll second that. You made the motion, I'll second it.
Thank you. Any more discussion? Seeing none, Dr. Eversole.
Aye.
Dr. Coffey.
Aye.
And I. And item N. Seven on the dot.
That was good.
At about a, about